Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's another great day to discuss other people's excellence. I'm the unforgettable one himself, Mr. Brett Carroll, and I'm just a guy that likes BSN at work. All right, got another Steelers pod. I mentioned this on one of our other NFL pods briefly, but like I wanted to at least talk about this Arthur Smith hiring because it's a big hire. It's a big hire, and there's some things that are I like about it, some things I don't like about it, and some major changes that could come. And we'll talk about all that. All right, so let's get started. I'm still on the fence about the Arthur Smith hiring. I see the pros and cons at of the hire. I get it, but a part of me still believes that the Steelers are hoping to win the Steelers way and not how the NFL is progressing. If you missed my original reaction to it, I just felt like we as fans kind of got bamboozled. They were talking a lot about not hiring in-house and doing it differently and all this other stuff. And everybody, and literally everybody that they interviewed were these new, innovative, younger offensive minds. And we were excited and we were happy. And then out of nowhere, they hired Arthur Smith. And then, they interviewed Arthur Smith. And even then, we're like, oh, okay, you deserve to, interview one guy that's more of what you like to do. And then literally, like, yep, this is the guy. And it was just like, okay. So were you BSing us the whole time? Was this what you were playing the entire time, but you just wanted to make it sound like you were at least trying to go in a different direction? Or are you so stuck in your ways that you legitimately tried and just couldn't stomach the thought of hiring somebody that is new and young and innovative and going the way the NFL is going instead of the way that you want to go? Either way, I felt kind of bamboozled as a fan because as much as I bleed black and gold, as much as I love that old school style of football as a Steeler fan, at the end of the day, we know in today's NFL, especially in the AFC, you can't win like that. You have to be able to uh be more innovative with your offense, score a lot of points, get a lot of yards, and you need a quarterback who could be a superstar. And I think what they decided to do was say, no, we still think we can win the Steelers way. And I'm kind of just on the fence about it. So, yeah, I do think Kenny Pickett will benefit from the hire. I do think that he will make Kenny Pickett better or any quarterback that we decide to roll with better. But I don't think it's going to make us good enough to win a Super Bowl. And that's where I'm frustrated because we have a defense that's ready to win now. We need our offense to catch up to our defense. And again, I get their thought process of with our defense, if we run the ball, if we control the clock, if we can score points and be efficient on offense, that's good enough to win the Super Bowl. But again, I don't care how good our defense is. One, it's not the best defense we've ever had. No offense to TJ Watt, who's one of the best defensive players I've ever seen. The defense as a whole is not the best defense we've ever had, let alone one of the best defenses of NFL history. And two, even if it was, again, in today's day and age, at the end of the day, at some point, you're going to come across a guy like Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, and you're going to have to say, here, offense, take the ball and just score. Every single time, score. Because if we don't score, we're not going to win. And I don't think this style of offense is how you win. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but this is, I think this is a great short-term answer in terms of maybe helping Kenny Pickett develop, but I don't think it's a great long-term answer. Um, and again, even in the short term, I don't think we're gonna win a championship. I know that they're looking at this picture here when Vrabel had Arthur Smith. They went to the AFC Championship game, and that's great. I get it. I still don't think this is how you're going to get to where you need to go, but I could be wrong. Speaking of, there are a few players that should be thrilled about this hire. Kenny Pickett is the first one. I do think Smith's system is going to make life easier for him. Kenny has always been at his best when the offense is balanced, and we are going to be a run first offense with plenty of play action passes to satisfy both Pickett and Pickens. Pickens is the other guy that should be thrilled. He's a perfect type of receiver that thrives in Smith's system. This will be great for him and his development. Again, AJ Brown has some of his best years in Tennessee with Arthur Smith as his offense coordinator. Corey Davis was really good in Tennessee with Arthur Smith as his offense coordinator. What Pickens does best actually is work the middle of the field. Ironically, we think about the highlight plays along the sidelines, but he's actually done his best when you could use him work in the middle of the field where he could kind of use his speed to run away from guys. Arthur Smith's going to do all that. He's going to use run the ball, play action, get him those one-on-ones on the boundary and in the middle of the field where he does a lot of damage. Pickens should be ecstatic about this. Now, again, Pickens, this is where you also need to step up because you're going to have to block. You're not going to be throwing it as much. So you can't be lackadaisical on run plays. You can't be lackadaisical on plays you're not getting the ball. You have to. This doesn't work if you don't do your part and be 100% engaged and go at 100% every single time. Because that's the whole point of the offense is to pound it, tire the defense out, lower them to sleep, and then hit you over the top for a big play. So those plays will happen for you, but in between those plays, you have to do your job because otherwise people are going to know when you get the ball and it's not going to be as effective. So I will say that. But if he's all in on the system and does his part, he should be thrilled. Najee Harris and Jalen Warren should also be thrilled to begin the rock a lot. Harris is going to have to work on his lane vision because his vision is horrible. But the offensive line should be much improved, which should help. I think Arthur Smith will help him in that regard. Um, I think Najee will be fine. They'll figure that out. He does have to work on his vision, but I'm sure they can tweak some things where it could be more of a one read, one cut run style for him when he's in the ball game. But either way, I think if you're a running back, obviously you're gonna love this system because you're gonna be getting the ball a lot. On the other hand, guys like Pat Frymuth and Deontay Johnson are probably not going to like this system if they get a chance to participate at all. In Smith's system, he needs big physical blockers. Johnson obviously isn't that. And Pat's biggest weakness is his lack of blocking skills. He's a receiving tight end. He's not a great blocker at all. That's something that if he's going to survive, he's going to have to work on that. To be honest, I can see Darnell Washington becoming the starting tight end. I'm actually really excited about that because I think in this system we can see the true potential of Darnell Washington. You got this guy because he's a freak of nature. You got this guy because he fell to you at the bottom of the third round after you had already traded back. You got this guy because he could be a weapon. And so far, they haven't really used him as that, but obviously he needed some development. In Arthur Smith's system, Darnell Washington, if he has the potential to be a star, this is literally the system in which it will happen. So I can see Arthur Smith saying, you know what, let's focus on developing Darnell Washington because we know he could at least block. I can make him a great receiving tight end. He's doing what I want him to do first and foremost, which is be a great run blocker. So yeah. So what does this mean? If they see fit, I can see the Steelers trying to trade either Johnson or Freiermuth or even both if it makes sense. If neither one of them fit into the system, it makes sense to get something for them. Again, ideally, at least one of them you could be moved while you try to figure out a way to deal the other. If they are traded away, the Steelers would probably expect a second round pick in return for each of their young stars. Is that asking price reasonable? I think for one, yes. For the other, we'll talk about that. So if the Steelers trade Pat Fryer, I think the Chargers will be the perfect fit. They already need a tight end, and if they pass up on Brock Bowers, they'll be hard pressed to find a good one in the draft. I think it would easily pay the second round price for Pat if that means they don't have to spend the fifth overall selection on Brock Bowers. The Chiefs may also want Pat as the future position once Kelsey retires. Um, yeah, I love the Chargers fit because I've said this once Jim Harbaugh became the head coach there, I figure Brock Bowers at 5 is a lock. However, if they're like most teams, they're gonna be like, man, I know Brock Bowers is great and he could be amazing. Is it worth the fifth overall pick? And if all three quarterbacks are taken, they might not be able to trade down from that fifth spot. Or I should say this: if all three quarterbacks and Marvin Harrison Jr. are taken before 5, which could easily happen, it's going to be hard to trade down at 5. And you know what I mean? You would rather trade from like 5 to 10, 5 to 11, 5 to 12, and then take Brock Bowers. This way, if you trade for Pat Freiermuth, you're only giving up a second round pick, and you can go ahead and uh take somebody else at 5, like a tackle, which you also desperately need, right? That makes more sense. So I think that would be a perfect fit for Pat Freiermuth. Deontay is probably they would want to trade away the most, but it would be the more difficult. Unlike the tight end class, it's a very deep wide receiver class. On top of that, Johnson only gets dealt if they pick up a receiver in free agency. So again, been a lot of Tyler Boyd rumors. He's from Pittsburgh. He's always said he would love to play for the Steelers. He'd probably be a free agent. I think the Bengals would franchise tag T. Higgins and let Boyd walk, in which case he might even take less money to come to Pittsburgh. So I think they only trade Deontay if they even get another receiver in free agency because they were already thinking about maybe drafting a third receiver anyway, right? Um, so I think you only trade Deontay if you're able to get at least one receiver in free agency. Um, but again, it's risky because it's a good wide receiver class in free agency and in the draft. So who's gonna want Deontay Johnson? To me, the Panthers are the only team that makes sense, and that's if they can't address receiver and free agency themselves. Drafting a receiver at 33 is risky, so take the known commodity in Johnson and for Carolina. I've said this numerous times. I'm gonna say it again. At 33 in this year's draft, there is a very good chance that you're drafting receivers 6 through 10. Realistically, it'd be more like 6 or 7, but again, you could be drafting receiver 8, 9, or 10 at 33. There are a lot of teams that need a receiver. Now, again, depending on how free agency goes, some might be good, some might not. I don't know. But we think 3 receivers are going to go in the top 10 already. And then there's a bevy of teams that also could use a receiver and might take one in the first round. So with that being said, at 33, the Panthers desperately need to hit on receiver. They missed out on Terrence Marshall. He hasn't panned out. Jonathan Mingo is okay, but there's nobody in Carolina right now that thinks he's going to be a future star. He could be, but he didn't really showcase that much his rookie year. At 33, that's a risk, right? It's a risk to wait and see what receiver falls to you. One could, or you might be stuck, like I said, taking receiver 8, 9, 10. And again, if you're that desperate for a receiver, I don't think you can take a chance like that. I don't think you can hope that even 6. I mean, again, I think they really need a receiver. I don't know if it makes sense for them to try to just figure that out. And with whatever receiver falls to them. Now, granted, Deontay Johnson isn't the receiver they would want anyway. They want a bigger, taller receiver, especially because Bryce Young's a smaller quarterback. Give him somebody that he can just kind of throw it up to, or at least see over the defense. However, Deontay Johnson's a pretty good route runner. He's a really good separator. And so, and Bryce Young had a really good rapport with Adam Thielen. So give him 2 guys like that, where he at least when he drops back, he's like, at least I know one of these 2 guys will be open. He's very accurate with the football. Um, I think Deontay would be, pretty good for them. So again, that's the only real fit to me that makes a lot of sense. Again, the Chiefs also could be the only problem with Deontay to the Chiefs is sometimes he has a case of the droppies, and with the year that they've had, I don't think they're going to take any receiver who isn't quote unquote sure-handed. Um, yeah, that's the only reason I wouldn't say that. Um, the Bills too, I can see if the Bills don't take a receiver in the first round, maybe they would want Deontay towards the end of the second because it makes more sense. There's some teams, but I think the Panthers would be desperate enough to do it because they can't afford not to, I guess. Okay, so here we go. I made the trades. So what I did, to be fair, I did Deontay for a third round pick for the Panthers, and then I did the second round pick for Pat Freiermuth. That way, y'all can't say I'm being biased with the Steelers having 3 second-round picks and two of them in the top five of the second round. I didn't do that. I went ahead and I traded Deontay for a third-round pick from the Panthers, and I did the second-round pick for Pat Fryermuth. Um, so yeah, here's what's available. So here we are at 20. Again, we're just gonna do a 4 round mock. Here we are at 20. Oh, looks like Jackson Powers Johnson. Oh, he just went at 17. Darn. Okay, at 20, I'm gonna go ahead and take Amarius Mims. Y'all know how I feel about this pick. JC Latham also makes a lot of sense. I think JC Latham might be a little bit better at pass blocking as of right now, but not as good as run blocking. I wonder if that's gonna matter to Arthur Smith. Again, you know he wants to be I mean, he's still a good run blocker. Uh JC Latham might be the better pick if I'm being honest. Oh wow, so he's not. Oh, I thought he was a better run block. That's interesting. Everybody said it was the opposite, that he's a great run blocker but needs to develop as a pass blocker. All right, well, you know what? This is what we're gonna do. Let's just take JC Latham. Either way, the pick is a tackle, and we'll go from there. All right. Now, at 37, we have Zach Frazier. Let me see what corners on the board before I do this. Kamari Laster's on the board. Wow, so in this one, the corners went early. Interesting. I did a Panthers thing like this. You'll see both of them next week. Um, it's interesting how that's why I like doing these. I like doing the specific team ones because obviously you can't control the other picks. It's interesting. And that one, all the other, let me see what the inside line looks like. All right, we still have a lot of inside linemen that are here that I would like. Hmm. I'm thinking I should take corner here and hope that at least one of these centers fall to me. Yeah, because there's not that many corners left. He's 6'3", 195. Do I take him or do I take him with one of our two second rounders? We have that's true. We have two of each now. We have 2 seconds, 2 thirds, 2 fourths. All right, we're gonna take Zach Frazier and hope that a corner is still here. Kyrie Jackson's still here. We're at 52 and we pick again at 65. How many linebackers are left? Okay. Basically all the linebackers are left. So I'm going to go ahead and take Kyrie Jackson now. He's 6', 180. He's at least 6'3", 195. Yeah, I'm gonna take Kyrie Jackson now and get a linebacker at 65. If there is one, there should be one left. Yeah, Junior Colston's still here. Yeah, perfect. We're gonna go Junior Colston. We're not even gonna think about it. Okay, so basically all of our biggest needs are taken care of. We got our center, we got our tackle, we got our corner, we got our linebacker, and we still have three more picks. I love that. So now we could kind of go best player. So Trash is here, which is a horrible name for any football last name for a football player, but whatever. um let's just see what we have to our Patrick Paul is still here. Wow. Cedric Van Pran is still here, so we could have gotten I think we're good with all that stuff. Um are there any safeties available? So see in my other one, all the safeties were gone. And my other one, Cameron Kitchens, I believe, was still available at this spot. Mm, that stinks. That's the only other position we really like need. Okay. All right, so we'll circle back to the safeties. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Because I have this, do I want to go guard here and really shore up that line? I don't like that idea. Leonard Taylor's still here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and take Christian Mahogany. What other wide receivers are here before I do that? Javon Baker's still here. Malik Washington's still here. All right, we got some options. I'm gonna go ahead and take Christian Mahogany, actually. I know a lot of people aren't gonna like that, but I kind of like that. Okay. Yeah, because now also we can think of quarterback as well. See, Mason Smith trade. Well, I'm not gonna take Kalen King is still here. Wow, Josh Newton is still here. See, we got some picks, and we got back-to-back picks. Joe Milton is still here. I think ooh, DJ James is still here. We could take another corner. Oh man, he's light 164. Good Lord. Mason Smith is still here. 6'6", 315. Uh, something tells me what's his name still not here. Not here. Darn. Ah, man. All right, I was hoping one of these receivers gonna fall to me, but no. He is strictly a slot guy. Oh man, I was hoping one of the receivers were gonna fall to me. Not the case. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just yeah, I low key want to take Mason Smith and Kalen King and call it a day. We don't have a fifth round pick, and it doesn't. I mean, obviously it's a fourth round mock. We don't have a fifth round pick in real life anyway. Um, so part of me says if you're gonna take a quarterback, take him now. If you want Jordan Travis or Joe Milton, take them now because they might not be there for you in the sixth round. 6'5", 230. Uh, if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it now. You gotta do it now. We're gonna do it now. We're gonna take Joe Milton. We're gonna take Joe Milton. So yeah, this is what our offseason could look like. Again, the only free agency thing I'm predicting is Tyler Boyd. So that gave us the opportunity to trade Deontay Johnson. We took JC Latham here at 20, Zach Frazier at 37, Kyrie Jackson at 52, which was through the I'm sorry, we traded Deontay Johnson, so at 65 we were able to get Junior Colson, Christian Mahogany. How was that a C plus? You're wilding. Um, Mason Smith. Yeah, I love this. I love this draft. I really do. We hit every need. I mean, safety is the one thing we didn't get, but that's fine. Like, safe out of all the needs we have, safety is like the least bit of my worries. We're probably gonna put Patrick Peterson back there at safety anyway. I think that's good enough. Um, but yeah, get a great right tackle so we can move Roger Jones back to left. Get the second best center in the draft and Zach Frazier. Kyrie Jackson's a really good corner too for us. Junior Colson to me is the second best linebacker in the draft, maybe third, but still, you got one of the best linebackers in the draft. Christian Mahogany is a really good guard. So now, once again, your line is solidified. And then you got Mason Smith. I love that pick as a luxury pick for us, and Joe Milton's a luxury pick for us. I love that. And again, this is just the top 4 rounds. You saw what was left on the board. Who knows what they could do after that? But yeah, I love this. I really do. But that's going to be the video, guys. You can find me at Never for Brett. Me, that's NEVA underscore the number 4 BRETT underscore ME on Instagram and Twitter. We are the underscore dope blog on Instagram and threads. We're the dope blog, all one word on Twitter. Our website is the dope.blog. And because you're watching this on YouTube, please like, share, and subscribe and join us next time as we continue to discuss other people's excellence. Deuces.